Hi everyone, it's Geoff here from discoverdouble-bass.com. That is the home of online double bass lessons and courses. So if you want to learn more about the instrument, please go and check out the website after this video. Now, I'm hanging out in London on a barge. So it's a studio barge where we've been recording a course with the amazing Adam Ben Ezra. Now, I'm sure you already know Adam. He has a wildly successful YouTube channel with millions and millions of views. You know, thousands of followers from all over the world who love his music, and he has just put together this incredible course for Discover Double Bass. And I thought it would be really cool just to have a chat with Adam and maybe ask him a little bit about his influences, the kind of material that he works on, you know, a lot of really geeky double bass stuff, such as what fingering systems he uses, and maybe something about his equipment as well. So yeah, great to see you, Adam. Welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, it's been really cool hanging with you all week. I've really enjoyed it. And why don't you just start by letting everyone at home know just a little bit about yourself and where you're from and how you got into playing.
So I'm from Israel, and I started playing when I was 5. My first instrument was the violin, so I was like a minor classical player.
Were your parents musical?
My mother plays a bit the piano, and actually I learned from her to play the piano. All she had to do is to put all kinds of stickers with the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, the notes. And since I knew how to read notes from my violin lessons, I knew I could play the piano. So I just learned to play the piano by myself. And at the age of 9, I decided I want to be a rock and roll player. So I picked up the electric guitar, but I wasn't so good guitar player, so I moved to bass players. So I moved to bass. I played a couple of years the bass guitar, and when I was 16, I was really interested with jazz. So it was a quick switch.
Who were you listening to? Who were your players that really inspired you at that age?
I listened a lot to Jaco Pastorius. He's a huge inspiration. I mean, he took the bass into the front of the stage.
Yes.
As a solo player. So it's a huge inspiration. I really love to listen to Eddie Gomez.
Oh.
He has a rich sound, and I really love the way he solo and play. Stanley Clarke also with his amazing technique, and Avishai Cohen, of course.
So these, I mean, hey, you've mentioned some incredible players there. Avishai Cohen and Stanley Clarke are both people I think about playing in a percussive way, and that's something you do a lot of. Did you sort of pick up some of those ideas, you know, at that early age and start to think about drumming on the double bass? How did that come about?
So I heard Avishai Cohen first drumming on his bass, and it was like the first spark to me to start drumming. And then I looked online, and I was looking for other inspiration. So I saw all kind of rockabilly players playing slap bass, but I didn't like so much the sound. It was too metallic for me. But I liked the technique that they use. So I just adjusted it to the wood, to drumming on the bass body. So it's basically the same technique, but placed differently.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. I mean, I find it so exciting hearing you play, and you're playing some really advanced rhythms and some really complex, you know, meters and polyrhythms and what have you. Did you find that it really helped your bass playing and your musicality sort of developing this drumming, or did you already have a lot of drumming skills and a lot of percussion skills?
Actually, I developed my percussion skills on the bass.
Yes.
I didn't play so much percussion before.
Yeah.
It really actually improved my timing because I played a lot with bands without a drummer. So I was the only one who was in charge of this rhythm. So I really improved my timing, how to stabilize my timing.
Oh, Adam, you mentioned this earlier when we were chatting over lunch. You mentioned about playing in bands, and you were the only drummer providing the groove. Were these bands playing like background gigs? And I love the idea of you playing, like background jazz music. But then these ideas starting to come out. Is that how it was working?
Exactly. I
Yeah.
was in my 20s and I was making a living out of playing this background music in all kinds of events, receptions, wedding, etc.
So all music. You were just doing
Yeah,
the whole thing,
yeah,
and pop
jazz and
music, and
pop music, jazz, everything,
yeah.
And it was a weekly practice, and I was getting paid,
Yeah.
so it was amazing.
Happy days. I have this, this thought of you sort of, in the tuxedo and everything, and the drumming starts to happen. I think that's really cool. And when you were practicing then, the double bass methods that you use are quite unorthodox, but your left hand technique does seem to be quite traditional. Are you, in terms of fingering, are you thinking about Samandal, or were you learning maybe the Bath method, or, did you have a fingering process, or was it just stuff that carried over from bass guitar?
Um, so the first years of playing, I didn't have a very structured
Right.
method.
Yes.
I've learned in high school, and we were practicing all kind of jazz stuff. But in the age of 25, I think, I decided, okay, and now I need to practice my bow technique. I need to get it done. So I went to one of the amazing player in Israel, Eli Magen. He plays in the Israeli Philharmonic, and he taught me the Simandl kind of method. So I have in my background this kind
Yeah,
of play.
you can really see the kind of classical roots sort of coming through at different points, and it's so interesting seeing the fusion. But I definitely noticed with the fingering system that you're using, and you've got great bow technique. You were doing some Ponticello kind of stuff, and some interesting kind of alternative uses of the bow that you cover in the course. So I absolutely enjoyed those. So what about looking back at that time as when you were studying, can you think about something that really helped you? That maybe when you were studying, something that helped you move your playing along?
And I think my first teacher, he taught me how to, how to say. I think my first teacher, he taught me the self-discipline of
Yes.
playing. I mean, the first thing I've done as a double bass player is to play very, very long note of the scale and just listen to myself. And it was like a meditative kind of being. Just listen to yourself and be stable as you can. And I think I kept this inner self-discipline along the way.
Yeah, I think that's a really important skill to learn, and it's really interesting. And I think the way that you approach sound production, you really care about the noises that you're bringing from the bass and all of these different sounds. A lot of the lessons that we've been covering in the course feature you playing the double bass, imitating different styles. So why don't you tell us about some of the instruments that you've been imitating? We've got the drums, and then what are some of the other ones?
So I play the guitar.
Yeah.
I play also the electric guitar, but also the classical guitar. And I'm really into flamenco. So I try to imitate this kind of strumming, the flamenco strumming, with my bass. When I was in India, I learned some tabla lessons. And when I got back, I really wanted to have this kind of sound in my hand. So I tried to find a way to imitate the tabla, and I succeeded. Another instrument that I really like to play is the oud,
Yes.
like an Arabic mandolin, and I found a way to imitate the tremolo technique with the pick, but with my finger.
Yeah, it's really, really cool material. I've really enjoyed that. And you're traveling the world at the minute doing your tour for your new album Pin Drop. So we'll provide a link below. You need to go and check this out because it's really incredible. And there's also some wonderful video footage of you filming it, which we'll share as well, because there aren't many people out there touring as a solo double bass player. There's a lot of respect for that. And how have you found touring? Tell me about the double bass that you're using and flying with the instrument, because I know you take one bass and you take it everywhere.
Exactly. I play a five-string instrument
Yeah.
with a high C, and it's very, very high to find if you want to rent it. So that's the reason I take my instrument everywhere I go. It's a Nick Lloyd instrument. Really, really like it, especially made for me. And it has a very, very nice system of removable neck.
Yes.
So instead of going with a big trunk,
Yes.
which is basically a nightmare to
Yeah.
carry in all kinds of airports and dealing with air companies. So now I can have 1 meter and 20 something centimeters trunk, and it's really, really useful.
And do the strings stay in tune when you put it back on? Do you find that they need a time to settle in, or does it just work?
I mean, when I take out the neck, the strings are still attached to the neck.
Yeah.
So it's not a big thing to do.
Yeah.
And when I assemble the bass, it's hard a bit to stay with a regular tuning.
Yeah.
So like when I get to the hotel, first thing is to assemble the bass and tune it half tone up.
Ah.
And by the time I go back from lunch, it goes down and it's quite stable.
Well, it's been really, interesting. We've been recording this course on a barge, so on a boat essentially, with a recording studio in there, and the temperature's been fluctuating a lot, but it's been really steady, the tuning. So you use Tomastic Spiracore, is that right?
Yeah, Tomastic Spiracore medium.
Medium gauge.
Yeah, and it's great strings. Keeps great sustain, very, very long, very, very punchy sound, and I really like it.
Hey, so you're doing all this touring around the world. If you've got an hour to practice in the hotel room, what do you work on?
Yeah, basically now I'm working on my flute and clarinet mostly. But if I practice my bass, I usually try to compose. And with composing, I face all kinds of challenges.
Yes.
Because I try to serve the music and not my technique. And sometimes the music asks for something that my technique is limited, and that's why I can push the limits.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed working with you on this course, Adam. It's been amazing seeing the material and the love that you put into your music. You've given us so much. We've spoken about playing the double bass like a guitar. We've spoken about playing like an oud. We've looked at all of your effects pedals, composing, playing the double bass like a drum. It's just been an absolute blast to learn all of these new things. Playing with microtones, stuff that I knew nothing about, and I've got loads of material that I want to go away and practice. So thank you so much for being so generous with your time. And lastly, just tell everybody, where can we find out about you and where can we come and see you play?
So everywhere on the net, adambenezra.com, that's my site, my Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, all over. My music can be found on Spotify, iTunes, everywhere.
Well, keep doing what you're doing. It's awesome to see the double bass standing out into the spotlight, and it's great to be, part of it and to have heard your music over this last few days. I've really enjoyed it. Best of luck with the rest of the tour, Adam.
Thank you. It was a great pleasure. Hi, I'm Adam Benezra, and if you want to bring a new world of sounds to your bass playing, then this is the course for you. These lessons are presented in a step-by-step order, from the basics to the advanced level. this course, I squeezed a lifetime of bass playing to these lessons, so you could be inspired to find your own way of playing the bass.